Hey guys, Richard here with CRG Games, and I just wanted to take a minute and show you my Animar deck. I've mentioned this a few times. I'm proud of this deck. It's, I guess you would call CEDH. It just kind of has a lot of cards that I like, and it is a little bit on the pricey side. I use Echo MTG to make lists and track collections kind of stuff, track prices, and it is saying that this is around $2,400 to $2,700, so we'll just say $2,500 to be safe. And I put a lot of time in this deck. My goal is to foil this out. I'm not quite there yet. It's starting to get more expensive as I get the more expensive cards. But we'll start off, of course, with the commander. It's Animar, Soul of Elements. And this is an awesome commander because, of course, when he gets more counters on it, that lowers the cost of other creatures you cast. It lowers their colorless cost. So, I just put them in these mint sleeves so they're really slidey still. I'm hoping I don't knock this down and throw it everywhere. We'll start off here at the top. We've got Burgeoning, so this is great in the opening hand if you got a bunch of lands. Soldevi Excavation, I just have this as a land draw, or sorry, as a card draw, or I guess not card draw, but basically it lets you scry, and it is reserveless. It's a good card. Rhystic Study, because what deck doesn't need Rhystic Study? It is unfortunately just the list card. I would love to have the foil prophecy version, but it's really expensive. Mana Confluence. This is an original Journey into Nyx foil. Triome. I love Triome, so I always run. Well, in my decks, I try to run the extended art foils. Then we have a Rex Sage. Now I bought this. I did not pull this card, and it was like $23 or $24. I would expect this to continue to move up in price. Fierce Empath from Scourge. This is just an original foil. Gilded Drake. Now this is a proxy. I don't use the actual card in my deck just because of the price. So I use a proxy. And what you should always do, everybody should always do this with proxies. Take a Sharpie and write on that card that is a proxy. You need to permanently mark these so that they don't accidentally enter the market. I'm not actually a big fan of proxies. I think once you're done with them, they should be destroyed or permanently marked with something that can never be taken off. There's nothing worse than someone buying an expensive card and finding out it's fake, especially if they're not, super familiar with Magic cards and how to tell they're real. So this is the Secret Lair Riverglide Pathway, and of course we got the Yukio lands, Yukio E lands because they're beautiful. Breeding Pool, I haven't gotten a foil to that yet. Molten Hydra is in here because I took out Walking Ballista, the Ancestral Statue Walking Ballista combo, because I don't think it's that fun. Molten Hydra can do similarly the same thing, but only to one person. So I think that takes a little more effort. It's a little more fun that way. Shigeki, just a low-cost card, gets a counter on Animar, and you can draw cards with it. That is an Onslaught Foil Island. That is our box topper, Birds of Paradise. Boseiju Who Endures. So before I was doing this YouTube stuff, I opened a decent amount of Neon Dynasty collector boxes, and I pulled this in one. And this is one of the only cards that I saved because I knew I needed a foil, a really good land for this deck. Cloud of Fairies. So I bought this on TCG. I love this card. I bought it on TCG, and it shipped USPS, and during transit at some point, this card got dinged. You can see it right there. Something had basically stabbed through the envelope, through the top loader, and damaged this card. USPS did it shipped with tracking, so it had insurance on it, so they did cover some of that damage, which I appreciate. I didn't ask for the whole thing. I asked for what was fair, and they covered it. Deep Glow Skate, of course, 2 double counters. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. I use this as like an alternate pseudo win con because you can, make everybody's life total number of creatures they have, and if they don't have any creatures, well, they lose. Mana Crypt, because you need a Mana Crypt. Wooded Foothills, I just recently pulled this in a Zendikar Rising set booster box topper, so I replaced the regular one with the Zendikar Rising Expedition. This is my favorite Shards of Alara island. I just think this thing looks awesome. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's got, it almost looks like it's in a like a virtual reality setting. Another really cool Onslaught land, Alchemist Refuge. Now, I did buy the Secret Lair Alchemist Refuge to put in here, but it is a massive Pringle. So I'm sticking with the Mystery Booster Retail Exclusive Edition. This is another Secret Lair Pathway, Fauna Shaman. It's a great tutor card. Foe Command Tower, and this is slightly a Pringle, so it is what it is. Spire Garden, just for some extra mana. This is one of the Battle Bond dual lands. I believe it started in Battle Bond. Stomping Ground, I don't have a foil of these yet. Hinterland Harbor, this is a foil. It's not super shiny though, but it is a foil. This Exotic Orchard from Conflux is a foil. I used to have 2 of these, although I did sell 1. Vorinclex, probably going to take this out. I don't really need it. It's kind of more filler. It is not foil. Palancron, this is a real Palancron. He doesn't really need a proxy yet. Ukiyo-e Land, Flamekin Village, just for utility if I need to get something haste. And I do have a couple of elementals in here, so it doesn't always come in tapped. Bark Channel Pathway, this is also Secret Lair drop. Foil Yavimaya Coast. I'd love to have the Apocalypse version, but it's very expensive. It's a couple $100. Beast Whisperer. So I bought this one as well. It was also kind of expensive. Sylvan Library, this is a recent addition. Food Chain, this was a trade, probably last year. It's Mystery Booster, but eventually I'd like to get a fancy version. Emoti, good Cascade, Kozilek. This is a good card for ending the game if you can. Wall of Blossoms. This is the From the Vault 20. Tishana. I like Tishana. I need to get a foil of this one as well. Seedborn Muse, also not foil. Shadow Spear. This artifact is busted. The value that this thing has, it's an arcane lighthouse on an artifact that gives trample and lifelink. I mean, it's amazing. Love this card. Box Topper, Lightning Greaves. The best version of Lightning Greaves, I think, maybe next to Kaladesh Inventions. But I don't have the Invention version. Reality Chip, I think this card is busted as well. Once you equip it and you get to just start casting things from the top of your library, as long as you got enough mana, you can pretty much keep going. Lizard Blades, kind of a filler, but he's there to give some extra oomph. And Uro speaks for itself. Cyclonic Rift, this is also box topper there. And I recently picked this one up not too long ago as well. It's running about $60. Ice Fang Coatl is a good blocker at instant speed and draws you a card and gets a counter on Animar. Swan Song, an excellent counter spell. Goreclaw, he's kind of a filler card. This was basically because I didn't have anything that was giving my stuff trample, and Animar could just bounce off, a 0/1. So Goreclaw was there to give him trample. Mystic Remora for early game draw. Counterspell, of course, you need those. Acidic Slime for artifact or enchantment or land destruction. Terror of the Peaks, I got this from a friend. Terror of the Peaks is absolutely killer, and once you start comboing off and you start, having creatures drop into the battlefield, if you can get Palancron out and start, bouncing that back and forth, that does a ton of damage and that can end the game. Worldly Tutor, got one of these. Non-foil, Rattleclaw Mystic. Great card to add some mana early game encounters. Ulamog. This is another card that you can use to kind of hasten the end of the game, and just cause a lot of pain for your opponents. Phyrexian Metamorph, great utility card. Forgotten Ancient, that is also a foil. That is a Scourge foil. Those counters are super helpful, and being able to move them, especially maybe move them over to Animar, makes a big difference. Deadeye Navigator to maybe bounce Palancron. Solemn Simulacrum. This card for the longest time was like $2, $3, $4. Severely underpriced for the coolness factor of the art. Ukiyo-e Land. This is the Japanese, I think promo War of the Spark version of Kiora. I think it's the Crashing Wave. And basically what she does is you can put a -1, neg 1 her loyalty points here and untap a permanent. And then if anything with power 4 or greater comes in the battlefield, you get to draw a card. Trading Center. This is one I pulled originally when Commander Legends collector boxes came out. I got a couple different extended art lands. Rejuvenating Springs. I don't have the extended version of that. Vizier of the Menagerie. I love this card, again, because you can look at the top card of your library and just start casting things. And if you don't have the right mana, it doesn't matter because you can spend mana as though were any type to cast creatures. Rishkar. Just kind of a early game if you need some extra mana. If you got 1/1 counters on things like Animar, you can use it as a mana source. Growing Rites of Itlimoc. It's a Gaia's Cradle on the back. And I don't currently have a Gaia's Cradle, so this is the next best thing. 3 Visits. Survival of the Fittest. Now this is another proxy. It also says proxy in Sharpie on the back. Survival of the Fittest is a great card. Essence Scatter, the Great Hinge. This is a foil promo. I just recently traded my non-promo, non-foil for this card and a little bit of cash on top so I can have the foil version. Scalding Tarn. This is from a collector booster box. That is the etched foil, which I actually prefer. War Room, great card draw. Steam Vents, not a foil yet. Primordial Sage is for card draw. Green Sun Zenith, of course, to search out cards from your library. Fierce Guardianship, because it's one of the best EDH counterspells ever printed. Got 2 of these, actually. Teferi, Master of Time. I think this is a great card, especially being able to use his abilities on opponents' turns. And for card draw, of course. Toski, because it never hurts to have indestructible creatures. And card draw. Hydroid Crassus, card draw. Such a great looking card. That is the pre-release version. January 2019. Alexi's Cloak. I was running... I was running something else in here for a long time that I put Alexi's Cloak in here. Oh, Diplomatic Immunity. So I was running a foil Diplomatic Immunity, but I think Alexi's Cloak is actually a little bit better. It doesn't itself have Shroud, but it can be cast at instant speed for 2 mana. That has saved the Animar a bunch of times. Soul of the Harvest. That is a foil. Apex Devastator. I don't have a foil of these yet. Consecrated Sphinx. Of course, card draw. Mystic Snake. Blocker. And a counterspell with flash speed. Birthing Plot, I'm probably going to take this out because I don't really need it, to be honest. Metal of the Mixture. Bala Ged Recovery. Of course, you got to have one of these. This is another Onslaught foil land. Beastcaller Savant. I don't know why I don't have a foil of this card yet. Reliquary Tower. This is a 2011 FNM promo. City of Brass. I'm too poor to have a foil City of Brass just yet, but it's probably going to be the 8th edition foil. It's a bit more affordable than the 7th edition foil. And it'll still have the black border. Sheevan Reef. It's a little bit scratched up. It's an LP version. And then I have a Misty Rainforest. And this is non-foil because it came from a Zendikar Rising box topper. So that is my main EDH deck. I haven't played this as much lately. It is really strong, and it doesn't take a whole lot to combo off and just start playing your entire deck. For you, that can be fun. For your opponents, it's not fun, and it quickly turns into, as we say when we're gathered around the table, this is the turn that never ends. So, I like this deck. I put a lot of effort into it, and it's got a lot of my favorite cards in there. So, I play it when I need to win. I guess that's the case. Or I just let other people play it as well. Friends, if we're gathered around, they don't have a deck with them, I'll let them play this one. Or, I'll let them play any of my decks, really. Always just with a caveat, please be gentle. There's still a lot of air in these sleeves, so it doesn't quite smush down as well. So that has been my current favorite deck, my Animar EDH deck. And I hope you like that. If you got any questions or, if you like that, go ahead and put a thumbs up or, whatever you want to do. Just kind of wanted to show you guys what maybe a $2,500, $2,700 EDH deck looks like. No dual lands yet. Still working on it. Maybe in the future. But until next time, I will catch you guys later.